So this afternoon, I'm out scouting fields, we call it. So basically I'm driving around on the gravel roads, going around to all of our different fields, and I'm checking out the crops. I'm looking for anything that stands out to me, whether it would be storm damage or some sort of disease. It can really be anything. Weeds that are taking off in a spot. Right now I'm standing in a bean field. We've got some pretty decent beans here. I will point out, like that spot there where the beans are a little bit yellow, that's what they call IDC, or iron deficiency chlorosis. And it's not uncommon up here. We've got a lot of spots that are a lot bigger than that. I actually took the drone up here 15 minutes ago and flew over this field, and there's a lot of spots that are a lot larger than that one out there that you can't see at all from here. So that's one of the things, like with the drone, one of the things that's really nice, we can fly it out there and see that, and I can fly it right down to the beans and I can get a good look and take some pictures and actually see how big of an area is affected and what's going on way back in the field. On the soybeans, one of the biggest things we're looking for right now this time of year is soybean aphids. And I pulled this one out. There's not a lot on here. I don't know if you can see it through the camera or not. It's too sunny for me to tell, but there's little tiny green soybean aphids on the plants. There, I think you can see them there. Try and kind of point them out for you there. But those soybean aphids, they'll more than double every day, and their population takes off in a hurry, and we've got to get out and spray those to kill those. We'll be doing that probably next week. I don't think we'll be having to do it this week yet, but we want to wait until it reaches a certain threshold on those, because we don't want to spray them too early, or else we'll get a second flush of aphids in. And if we spray them too late, they'll do a lot of crop damage. So they cling to the bottom of the leaves. They'll get on the new leaves, the new juicy leaves that are growing, and they suck all the moisture out. And if you've ever seen a soybean field where they didn't take care of the aphids in time, you can see that the plants turn really dark and they start twisting up, and it's ugly. They can do a lot of damage in a hurry. So that's one of the big things that I'm checking for today, is to see where we're at with our aphid counts on our plants. And right now, today, what I'm finding is about 1 to 2 dozen aphids per plant. That'll take off in a hurry. I imagine a week from now, that'll probably be 150 to 200 aphids per plant, which will be getting real close to where we want to get out there and take care of them. Right here, we've got a problem with the giant ragweed coming up, not just on the edge of the ditch, but it's also coming out in the end rows of the field here. So we'll probably run a tractor and sprayer down here and hit that with something. We'll probably go to a few other spots if I see some, and we'll take care of that also. We don't want to let that go to seed, and this stuff's obviously big enough that we're going to have to take care of it. Well, here I'm standing in one of our earlier planted fields, and the beans look pretty good here. I don't really see any chlorosis. This field is a little more rolling. There's not a lot of low spots, a lot of cold, wet spots for the chlorosis to start, which is typically the most common area for that. Here you can see we've got a lot of flowering going on. These whitish purple flowers are what will get pollinated, and eventually will turn into pods where the seed grows. I'll pull one out here, we'll take a look. So this one's got a lot of pods growing on it already. This is pretty good for our area. You can see a lot of pods growing on there and still flowering out. So this is still setting pods, still putting pods on. This is a big plant here. Look for aphids. The first place to look for aphids is down on the newest leaves, any new areas, and they're almost always on the bottoms of the leaves. So they don't sit on the top of the leaves right here. So you've got to pull the plant out and look at the bottoms of the leaves here. And there you can see here, this leaf, for whatever reason, whether it's got more moisture in it or what, but there's an awful lot of aphids just on that leaf there, and that's typically how it is. A lot of the times when you can find a really young set of leaves, that's where you'll see the aphids are really bad. The smallest, newest trifoliates, once they're coming out, which I don't see any on this plant where the aphids are bad, but like this little set of leaves right here If was a week later, this little set of leaves would probably be covered in them, and we would have to get out and get things sprayed. So I didn't see anything that I found out of place or uncommon. I saw a couple of dry spots in this field, spots where it kind of ran out of moisture and the beans were a little bit thin. But other than that, everything looked pretty good back there. I didn't see any IDC or any damage or any big issues that I think we need to take care of right away. Here I've got some leaves that have a bacterial blight on them, it's called. It's not real concerning. They were on the bottom of the plant. It's probably damaged from a thunderstorm that came through a while back, probably several weeks ago. And the high winds and heavy rain, maybe a little bit of hail is possible, but it damaged the plant tissue, and it allowed this bacteria to get in there and damage the leaves. You can see, I'll roll the window down here, that the field looks pretty good. And the damaged leaves are on the bottoms of the plants, and they basically just keep growing through it, so the new leaves don't have any damage or any disease to them. It's a pretty common disease. We see it quite a bit when I go out there and look through the field. Almost every plant has some of this on the bottom leaves. I forgot to mention before that with the IDC, or the iron deficiency, chlorosis, what can we do about it? At this point, there's really nothing that we can do about it. Drain tile would help because it's a common problem in the low areas, so that's one thing. Picking a good defensive bean is another thing. Companies usually have an IDC rating on specific varieties of beans that let us know how well they handle IDC or how well they don't handle it. So if we've got a field that's typically gets it pretty bad, we'll put a good defensive bean on there with a good IDC rating. Otherwise, there really isn't a whole lot we can do about that. The bacterial blight, there's really nothing we can do about that either. They say it's not economically damaging enough to justify any kind of a fungicide application or anything like that. We pretty much get some of that bacterial blight on our beans every year here. You can see it on the lower leaves from the thunderstorms earlier in the spring, and it really doesn't pay to do anything about it. They say it's not too damaging. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.